And Kenny, I'm going to start with you because when it comes to DOGE and the Democrats, they're already starting with this mantra. It's for the billionaires. It's saving the billionaires money. To them, it's like a disease, and now it's gone viral because it's spreading its tentacles and it's contagious going to the states. But the other half of the country looks at that and says, this is amazing. You're a market guy. So if they let the tax cuts, for example, expire and they block everything Trump is trying to do and they get in the way of DOGE, they will not just hurt the American people, they will hurt the markets too.
Right. I think they will. If we see a tax increase that is projected to happen if they don't pass it, yes, I think it's going to hit the markets, and that's why I think you're starting to see the market get a little bit antsy now because it's worried about them pushing this tax this bill off and then getting in the way of this tax. The tax bill. And so, therefore, I think the market's already getting nervous ahead of that. But, yes, to your point, if that happens, it's not going to be pretty for us and it won't be pretty for the market. And
I love the stats that we quoted there about young people supporting this, too, because they're standing back. Traditionally, you think the young people are sort of brainwashed at school and they kind of go to the left or they're super progressive. But all of a sudden, you see young people getting on this movement. I think it's really interesting.
Well, they see Elon Musk talking about it, and they generally look up to him as an innovative, interesting guy. And he's saying, look at all the people across the country who are living off your tax dollars, and they don't even want to tell you what they do. Yeah. Okay. Even if you're brainwashed, Jackie, even if you went to liberal boot camp in college, you can probably understand that doesn't make sense. And so they're the least attached to this system. I think that's why they're maybe the most willing to actually change the system. And can I say, there was a politician up there right before Ilhan Omar who said all they're doing is they want to do DOGE so that they can cut people's taxes, right? And the answer to that is yes. Exactly. The whole point of doing DOGE is to give more money back to people and not just billionaires. The Democrats keep writing the playbook for this, in my view, actually. That's exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do. Do more of it. Cut everyone's taxes more. It'll be more popular.
This might be a question more for Kenny as well, but with the consumer confidence numbers, we'll get to more of the details of those numbers in a later block, but the one-year head inflation expectation jumped to 6% from 5.2. 6%, if I'm a consumer and I'm thinking that that's what inflation is going to be a year from now, that doesn't sound good. Doesn't that make me more likely to vote for DOGE? Because it's been all of this spending that has led to all of this inflation. And yes, we can offset tariffs with tax cuts, and we can do that in the next block. But talk to me about the desperation that we need to get DOGE to right-size this government.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. To all these points, DOGE is doing the right thing. Musk is doing the right thing. Trump has said he ran on this idea of finding the waste and finding the fraud, and that's what we're doing. We'd see it every day. They find more waste. Let's not call it fraud. Let's just say it's waste. Like we just saw, they're paying $200 for a cable that costs $20, or they're paying for licenses that they're not using, software they don't use. That's just waste. Let's not call it fraud. Let's just call it waste. And so that's going to come back. That's going to come back to us. And yes, it should take some of the pressure off, right? But yes, to your point, and I think we talked about this, I think the issue this year is really going to be inflation. Not the tariff is not going to be the issue. I think inflation is going to be the issue. And the fact that we're seeing the consumers suggest that they're expecting it to be higher. I thought that number was fairly high. I was surprised by that number. I thought, if we get back in the 4 range is where we're going to be. But 6 is a very high number.
The Treasury market is saying what President Trump and what his financial team, including Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and what Elon Musk and the DOGE team are doing is right on the money. The 10-year yield has fallen for 5 days in a row.
4.3 again.
Yes. It is at 4.3 right now. So when the yield falls and people are buying treasuries, they ain't worried about inflation, and they're also not worried about the safety and soundness of the federal government and the borrowing ability of Uncle Sam. All of that, I cannot overstate the importance of it. The 10-year Treasury was actually at 4.8 early in January. On January 20th, it was at 4.625. So for it to fall that much, the yield, that is significant in just a matter of weeks. Why is all of this important? One, it's a signal that Okay, it's only $65 billion. If I hear one more person say that, I'm going to pull my nose hair out, which is painful.
I might say it.
Because, again, working around the edges is important when none of these shrieking wingnuts have done anything to cut this ballooning deficit and debt in recent years. And second, so they're hard at work trying to do something and just the beginning of it. And two, we are on the cusp. If we can't get interest rates down and roll over our debt, which is coming due in the next 3 years, more than half of it has to roll in the next 3 years.
Right.
If we can't keep interest rates under control and they start skyrocketing, we are in a death spiral financially as a nation. So all of this, because of what Trump, Musk, Bessent et al. Are doing, we're heading in the right direction.
Agreed. But to Taylor's point, if inflation starts to tick up again, the Fed's going to be in a very tough position. At the very least, they're going to pause this year. I don't think we're getting any rate cuts. I think the risk is actually to the upside that they raise rates towards the end of the year.
They can't because there's so much debt that because of Janet Yellen that we hold on the short end.
I hear you, but so then they're going to just let inflation spin out of control? They got to do something to calm it down. Right?
We'll see.
I will. Well, if longer term interest rates become a problem, it's self-correcting because the economy slows.
Right.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves because the 10-year right now is telling you everything
going
is
down.
Yeah, everything's going in the right direction, including inflation.
And I'll just add, I love this DOGE task force that Ron DeSantis is creating in Florida because he's already got a very efficient state. But he's saying we can even do better than that, and we're going to continue to try it. So I love the way it's trickling down.
We nicknamed it Floge yesterday in your
Floge.
absence.
Amazing. All right.